Guys, this is Mike. It's been a long time since I posted a video, but this morning I was at home for just a little bit. I didn't have my usual work in the morning, so I was able to get the delivery from Amazon. Kind of a nice surprise because it had been delayed maybe 3 times now, I think. But I canceled my original order for this guy. It's the Invincible Iron Man Mafex figure, comic version with the Proton Cannon. But as you probably know from the Hasbro Pulse Con, there was a new version of the Marvel Legends, an Iron Man based on the cartoon, which is one of the things that helped get me into comics back in the old days. It was mainly from a 1993 Marvel calendar that my dad picked up, but I soon started to like Iron Man, and then I picked up some West Coast Avengers from a sort of like a pawn shop in my hometown, and then Wildcats cartoon and Iron Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, all kinds of cool things to get me into it back in those days. But anyway, I got this guy. I think nobody has reviewed him yet. My reviews are really beginner level, so if you bear with me. But it's my first Mafex figure, and I'm very excited about opening him. The Proton Cannon itself looks great. It doesn't have much of a blast effect, so that's kind of a bummer. But I think I have a lot of effects. I might be able to make something work out. But for today, because I have a very limited time before my next part of my job starts, I just wanted to open this guy on camera with you. And there's probably going to be no editing, and I'm shooting this like in basically emergency timing situation because I have too little time to set up the room for doing a video. But I'm going to see if my phone is still recording, because this phone is still the one that I haven't replaced. I tried replacing it, but because I have my phone service through a smaller provider, and I don't have guaranteed service for certain phones. So the phone that I really wanted to get, I couldn't end up getting when I went shopping for phones a few weeks ago. So still using this beast. Let's see if it has disconnected us yet. Oh, it's a nice surprise. It's still recording. Okay, I'm gonna try to open this guy. So the Mafex figures, I actually don't know much about this company or how long it's existed, but these are really fancy. I would guess, yeah, they seem to be based in Japan. Produced and manufactured the Medicom Toy Corporation in Shibuya, about 30 minutes that way by train. But they have kind of Japanese figures posability, so really posable. I don't know how durable they are. That's one of my gripes about Japanese toys, is they kind of sacrifice playability for posability. And as a result, I think a lot of kids in Japan don't have very much of a like imagination, like role play type of imagination, basically. It's just the kids that I teach, they don't usually really play with toys so much as like building or constructing things or posing, but they don't actually kind of make a story with their figures. You might be able to see inside there. I don't know how well it focuses, but there's a pretty cool old Iron Man picture in there. And it's kind of interesting because the Proton Cannon is originally with my favorite Iron Man armor, the Modular Armor from the 90s. But this one is actually an older version of his armor. I can't think of what name this usually goes by, even though I'm an extreme Iron Man fan. I don't have many people to discuss this hobby with, so I don't talk about Iron Man armors like my usual geek self. Here's a little paper, and we have certifying genuine product. Little thing that's supposed to confirm that this is an actual Mafex toy. I forgot if I showed you the back here, but the back will probably give a better look at the toy than what I can give you by my actual unboxing. Okay, so it comes with a stand here. The stand is for the figure, and another stand, these are taped in. Another stand is for the Proton Cannon accessory, so you can set it up. But this is, like I said, my first Mafex figure, so I don't exactly know what I'm doing with this, so if you bear with me. Okay, this is the stand. Got a base, support pole, another optional pole, and this, it seems to be the main one for the Proton Cannon, but I may be proven wrong. Let's see what this other one has. This one's also taped in. The Amazon order this time had kind of minimal packing, so I was really happy about that. It's safe and secure in some kind of really thick paper, but just one sheet of paper, so not horrible for the environment like a lot of the things I get online. Okay, this one has actually 2 of the support pieces. I don't know which one is for which thing, but I'll take a look at the figure himself. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stand up so you can see this with a little less glare, hopefully. But we've got the face, and it's kind of a Tony Stark kind of miscellaneous face, I would say. It's not exactly his most common look, but he's rocking his mustache, and he has a regular face on the armor here, and he's got the kind of curved face with more of a nose. I don't know what this little piece is here, but I think this is to give him black eyes. Through here you can see eyes, so you can actually change his face underneath, just the part that lines up with his eye slits. Okay, and then he comes with two boot jets, and these may be repulsor blasts or they may be something else. As far as his hands go, it doesn't look like there's a place to mount the repulsor blasts unless these are magnetic. I think Mafex uses a lot of extra effort for making their thing, but maybe not as much as Mego or Mego, but I think it's Mego in English. But like that new Ghost Rider from Mego that's sold out, that thing has the light up function in the figure and light up function on the bike, and the Doctor Doom from that company has the real metal armor. The Iron Man does too, but somehow the Iron Man face sculpt on that really doesn't look like Tony Stark that I know. But I haven't bought the comics for a long time, but I have most of the comics from like 1 to 332, I think it was, when the whole Onslaught thing happened, and then I have a little bit of the new series, but Heroes Return. Okay, I'm gonna crack this guy open. Maybe we can see with a little bit less of glare. Is this taped or is this just clicked in here? Okay, it's just clicked in here. So we can pop this off. And once I did, everything's scrambled. Everything's moving around. Here's some of the pairs of hands. Don't know if you can see this, but got some little repulsor hands here. He's got some other repulsor hands here. that will focus. I hope this is still recording. I apologize, my phone is just junk, that's why I haven't been making videos. But if I can get a better phone that doesn't run out of power within 10 minutes, I'll try to do something. But okay, and a little pair of gripping hands here. I think that's for holding on to the Proton Cannon. And we've got another pair of hands. These look a little more like his traditional pose for repulsors. Curved in just slightly. And he's got two sets of hands that are kind of free. These hands even come on little plastic sprues so you can place them together. Aha! These hands have pegs here, so you can line up the pegs with the blast effect. That's the one that works for the repulsor. See if I can demonstrate that. Okay, kind of like that. If that will focus. I'm sorry, I have no idea how much of this will focus because I've never shot in this condition before. I know it's not very professional, but I'm really not very professional when it comes to YouTube videos, so don't do this as my job, and I probably never will. But okay, and then finally we are to his extra boots, his extra soles of his boots, I should say. And these are the ones that have the goofy roller skates, which in the Iron Man The Legend book, that's a great source book if you don't have that. The Iron Man The Legend was the book that came out. Fantastic Four The Legend, Captain America The Legend, oh geez, who am I forgetting? Thor The Legend and Iron Man The Legend. They're kind of like comprehensive guide to what's happened that's important in the comic series up to that point. But those were published when the Onslaught event happened. So Iron Man's issue 332 is when Iron Man and Thor and a whole lot of figures in the Marvel Universe were basically out of the comics for 1 year. It was the Heroes Reborn or Heroes Resuck version, as we say. But anyway, these are one of his lamest armor upgrades. That's the roller skate boots. Okay, and then let's take a look at his head real quick. Whoa, I'm going to drop the blast effects here. Repulsor blast effect. We have the two boot jet effects. These are pretty cool. They look a little bit different from the Marvel Legends thing, so it's nice for a fresh take. I don't know if the pegs will fit together, but I would suppose they probably don't. And now let's see if I can get his head out. Here's the head. It seems to have a ball joint, but looks pretty good. Tony Stark has a little throat bump. That's the kind of detail that I don't really notice on the Marvel Legends, so it's kind of refreshing. And he's got some highlights in his hair that give it a nice comic book appearance, if you can see that at all. Okay, and here is one of the masks, the one with the angular version. He doesn't quite have the iron schnoz, which is also featured in the lamest upgrades to the armor in Iron Man The Legend, but he does have armor that comes to a point on his nose. Really not a fan of that look. I think there's something kind of intimidating about his usual appearance. His usual appearance being kind of a flat mask. And then, I'm not going to take this out because it's so small, but the little black piece to stick over the eyes. And here comes the Proton Cannon. Oh, this is nice. The Proton Cannon in all its glory. You can see it here. I believe he holds on to one of these two parts. So, if you don't know this one, it's not really used in the comics. There's one issue in the comics which I think is the inspiration for the Proton Cannon. That's when he's fighting the Technovore robot, probably around issue 292 or 295 or somewhere in there, 297. But some robotic equipment on a space satellite gains intelligence and becomes kind of like a big alien thing that's made out of robotic technology, and he uses a giant gun that looks like the proton cannon, but it's actually a thing that shoots corrosive acid, and he uses it to destroy part of the space station and destroy the part of the Technovore. But yeah, instead of shooting acid, industrial strength acid for manufacturing processes, the Capcom game has it shoot a gigantic blast, and he says the legendary phrase, Proton Cannon. But anyway, this looks great. They gave it a wash, so it has black in the side here. I'm sorry again, I don't know how well it focuses. Maybe because the Proton Cannon is a pretty good part to focus on. I'll check this while I'm showing you. Okay. Yeah, so if he's holding it in the game, it's usually like this position. So, and it fires from here. Now it's got tons of holes, but these holes are all painted in black. They're not actually deep holes that you can plug effects in. But we may be able to put some Tamiya, is that right? Tamashi Bandai? I forgot the company's name, but I bought a whole lot of effects, probably way too many, but I plan on building a display here at my business, but I haven't ever done it yet. But okay. And last but not least, let's take a quick look at the figure before I have to go. Okay, here is the figure. He feels very clean and slippery, and he looks very similar to the Iron Man armor put out by Marvel Legends, but his joints do move really smooth. So I hesitate to move a whole lot, even though this is a bit of a unboxing and quick review, but I think he's mainly all about posability. He's less about durability, so I gotta not let my kid students play with this guy. Let's check if we bend one of his elbows. Okay, it bends kind of like that, if that's showing up. So it's pretty good. It doesn't look too unnatural with the double jointed middle joint. Some of the double jointed elbows on some figures really come across goofy looking. It looks like the arm has 3 segments instead of 2 for the main limb, I mean. But this one doesn't come across that way, so I'm pleased about that. I was a little worried, but okay. And they gave him a wash in the lines here on his gauntlets, on kind of his underpants, his iron underpants, and a little bit on his feet and his boots too. And I don't think the camera will pick this up, but inside here is quite cool. It's actually a clear plate, or a clear coat in the middle, and then the yellow sets very deep inside, so it actually has like a 3-dimensional effect to it. So as it should. And let's see if you can see his eyes in there. Will it focus? Maybe you can just make out his eyes. This video should be called Mike's Hairy Arms. That's what it's all about. Okay. I'm sorry it doesn't cover, I'm not going to cover a lot because I have to go back to work in just about 5 minutes. But I'm going to see if I can put this online. I'm sorry I haven't made videos for ages. I do have to remove all these plastic things, but I'll do that very carefully later. And one last thing, it's quite cool. he does have joints on his feet, so, and he actually has the two ports for his boot jets, which I think is comics accurate, at least for this armor it should be. But, okay, that